So I just watched Gosain's breakdown of Victor and took notes on the left, and it's kind of messy, so you'll have to forgive me. But this is the first gameplay I'm seeing of the character. I haven't seen any gameplay of him yet. Except left down forward 2 was crazy here. So Dragunov down 2 is now -1 on hit. So Dragunov does down 2. He steps left. I don't know why Sephi did down 2. Maybe he tried to down 2 again. Or he did like crouching down 2. Another punish. 3-1 plus 2. Down 4. The counter hit knockdown low. And then just a raw down forward 2. Yeah, up forward 1-1 is his combo extender at the wall. That's really cool. Forward dashing. Gosain said he loves playing with timing. 2-1, 2-1, back 2. Heat burst. I don't know what Dragunov's heat does, so... Oh my goodness. Did that track his sidestep right? It looked like he tried to step right. Huge frame advantage and just did a down forward 1. Counter hit! That was the down back 4 counter hit. 2-2-2 gun. Oh. Oh yeah.
I am legit excited about this character right now. Yeah, it was interesting, you know, Gosain getting that down back 4 counter hit, you know. And back 4,
okay, stance low. Sidestep right, down forward 2. Okay, I'm liking that. Cool combo, man. Oh my god, that was cool. Okay, he challenges the down 2. Victor down 2. Both characters are going to be using down 2 a lot. And then he blocks Victor's 1+2 counter hit attempt. I'm surprised I'm not seeing as many 1+2 attempts from Gosain. That's one of the key moves I was really interested in. It reminds me of old parry. Parry out of nowhere. Heat engage. Tries to heat. Oh my goodness, he tried to get a heat dash combo. Interesting. After what he talked about with Victor being able to use his sword and get more plus frames out of heat, I like the idea of just holding heat and being really annoying with it. Oh, he just hit him out of the perfumer stance. Nice. A lot of sidestep right down forward 2 from both players. I think it's a very Tekken 8 thing. Oh my goodness. Man, that takes forever. It's a cool animation, but wow, sidestep right down forward 2 again. Down 1-1. That's his low-high string. Down 2. Can't backdash. That's tough. That's going to be annoying. Can't backdash that. So, something I was making the comparison to is because Victor has this 1+2, this 15 frames safe counter hit launching mid, it reminds me of Lars from Tekken Tag 2. Lars hit down forward 2, and he could just throw that out, and he pokes and moves around to set up that move, right? And if you disrespect that move, he hits you. I want to see Gosain use that move more, just from my impressions. But he's going into stance, doing the Perfumer 3. EI stance. Oh, he rips the high. He was saying that the high is kind of like a mental frame game, because you could duck it. But he likes to do the single hit low. Oh my goodness, he's oppressing him. He put a parry out in the open, whiff punish with the heat smash. Nice. 2 throw. Position change. Down 2. That move is fire, bro. I'm going to be abusing that move so much. Backdash? Like back teleport? Is that heat only? Wow, he just ripped the while standing too. Okay. Man, Gosain blowing his heat constantly. Counter hit down 4. Running 2 blue spark. That means Sephi did frame perfect input. Not that time though. Stomp. Now, see, now Sephi has heat. Hey, EI4 is really cool. And EI stance has a parry, so I'm curious how that plays into him using the stance. Whoa, up forward 1, cancel into stance, evaded something. What did it evade? Let me go back. We're on YouTube. This is awesome. We can go back. He played up forward 1, and the teleport evaded. I can't believe that, man. That is messed up. So that's like the Kunimitsu energy where the stance actually evades. Now he's looping the stance over and over with up forward 1. Hey, running 2. Okay. Nice. 1 jab. Down 2 again. Raw down forward 2. He just did it. Heat burst. Does he have a combo? No, he does not have a combo. I don't know how. I would have just rage arted maybe. Oh, that's a launch punish. But he didn't need it.
Kind of dropped the combo there. He had rage available. Maybe rage wouldn't have killed, but he went to go for something flashy. Yeah, he's doing some tricks. Nice.
Yeah, it's all about trick. That was a tricky down forward too with the side step.
Nice. Oh my goodness. Here's that wall ender.
This is actually too much. No.
So I think the animation is really cool. I think really long hit throws in this game kind of kill the momentum. I wish they could speed it up somehow, but it is really cool. It's just if you fight somebody for 40 times in a row, that'll get kind of annoying, if you ask me. Oh, he got counter hit. That's a counter hit launcher.
Okay, something new.
Oh, what did he trade with? This is important. This is actually really important to see. So he does down forward 2. I don't know what the move is. Down forward 4-2. He's in stance, and he does the low, and Dragunov challenges with back 2. So he picked the mix-up option, not the frame trap option, which is usually how stances work. That's kind of nice to see that like Victor's stance doesn't auto frame trap everything. That was a beautiful whiff punish right here. Wow, he tried to track him with back 4. Oh, Sephi drops a combo. Okay. Heat burst back. Oh my god, he might have died. No! That was a punish. Okay. Does he stay on Victor? Oh, he switches to Law. Okay, so that's the only Victor gameplay we're going to see, unfortunately. But you guys see the notes on the left? I want to talk about what Gosain talked about during his breakdown. So I'll just leave the breakdown running in the back, but I'm going to kind of talk over it just because you can check out the VOD for the Red Bull thing if you want to see that breakdown. I'm just going to give you a quick summary here. So when Gosain was reviewing Victor, he said these 3 things basically. He's a good Tekken character, and he's built on timing and evasion more than like neutral mix-ups, right? And then he has pretty consistent punishment. And so if you don't know, I was a Noctis player, professional level, playing in Tekken 7. And when I talked to Michael Murray himself, is he director now? He's basically one of the heads in charge of Tekken 8. I don't know his official role, but he was telling me I thought every Noctis player would like Victor, and I said I'm not so sure. He feels like Raven and Kunimitsu. But now that I've watched this full breakdown, watched the gameplay, I have a better idea of what I'm thinking. So I'll get into that in a second. Let's talk about the moves and things like that first, to be sure. So he has good counter hit tools. 1+2 is a 15 frame counter hit launching mid, and it's safe. So he can kind of just throw this out. And in that set, I was kind of surprised that Gosain was not just throwing it out. Yes, it's probably linear, and he's probably afraid Sephiblack's going to sidestep it, but that's the whole timing game, right? That's what he's showing right now, 1+2. Now, back 4 is the 18 frame homing high that he whiffed near at the end of that set. It seems decent. It has a counter hit knockdown property, I think, or it was a launch. But it was decent high reward if he landed the counter hit. But to me, that didn't stand out too strong as much as, say, down back 3, where he would duck under highs. He does like a kick, ducking under highs and instant tornadoes into a combo. So truthfully, when I think of his counter hit tools, I don't think about those as much. I think about these. So here, yeah, while running 2, being +5 on block into a counter hit launch, or the down back 4, the high crush low like Lars. So I think of those moves first when I think of his good counter hit tools. But really, this 1+2 seems to be what brings it all together. He has good generic tools. He has a 14 frame mid poke in down back 1 that's unparryable. It's a dagger. It can go into stance, decent damage. And to me, Noctis had a mid poke almost identically in animation and in purpose. But Noctis's was 15 frames. So they clearly leaned it into poking more than range. Up forward 1-1 we saw was the big, like he punches with the hilt of the sword and he can go into stance, but it's 13 frames. So it seems pretty decent. But the big one is this down 4. Down 4, and I put in annoying lows also. These are all Gosain's things he listed. Good generics, good counter hits, annoying lows. And the way I see it is down 4, having tracking both ways solves one of his weaknesses that we'll see is the his lack of tracking. Having a low that tracks both ways makes it way simpler to play that game. Noctis had down back 3, which was a similar low. Victor stays standing, so he doesn't duck down like Noctis did. But being able to track both lows, even if you give up advantage on hit, is really, really good. Weaknesses. So while standing punishment seems to be kind of a weakness. He doesn't get a lot of reward, doesn't get a lot of damage. He has some frame options, but really, until you launch them, you're not getting a lot. We talked about linearity being one of his weaknesses, but he has options to cover it with down 1+2, back 4 being slower, Down 1+2 is a safe mid, back 4 is that high. But then I think just having down 4 alone is huge. You don't need a high damage tracking option. You just need enough to stop your opponent from moving. Talked about him being high commitment, that there's a lot of weaknesses his moves have, but the different moves cover each other's weaknesses. So you have to commit and you have to understand what your opponent is going to do. We'll put that to the test because I'm a pretty low commitment player, so I'm sure there's something that's abusable, but we'll see if once I get my hands on him. No down jab, similar to Noctis. Not a lot of frame advantage in neutral, similar to Noctis, and not a lot of scary lows. So these are the most like Noctis related things. These less as much. Okay. Another thing in comparing him to Noctis is I think his punishment is less brain dead. Noctis had really brain dead punishment. Everything was a 1 or a 2. Then like down forward 1-2 at 13 frames, down forward 2 at 15, back 1-2, right? It was very, very straightforward to learn your punishes. Victor is including kick buttons, which is already kind of like a mental shift depending on what character you play. I think a lot of the default muscle memory, I might be biased, is to use your jabs as punishes. And Victor is immediately showing different options with 3-1+2 or 3, forward 4-1. He uses the kick buttons, what seems like for higher reward punishes, and his punch buttons to go into different stances. That's a generalization, but it seems to hold so far. And then obviously after 15 frame launches, he starts getting some really good punishes. Back 3-1 being a nice like pushback punish, so like Death Fist from Paul. And then forward 2 probably being a gigantic whiff punish if you're really ready for something to whiff. We talked about while standing punishes not being very good, but the while standing one is nice because it's homing. So it's kind of like Kazuya's while standing 2. And then his while standing 2 is less of a punish, but is more like Raven's counter hit launch. So his full crouch is going to come into a lot of play here. So already when we look at his key moves and his punishment, and especially this while standing 2, I'm thinking more of Tekken Tag 2 Lars than I'm thinking of Noctis. This big counter hit mid, I think, cannot be understated of how annoying a move like this is, right? Having a low that tracks both directions, kind of... Lars had this really dumb move in Tag 2 and in 7 where he does back 1, and Tekken 6 as well. Just a homing mid, safe. So Victor doesn't have that same thing as far as I can tell. His down 1+2 is pretty slow. It's like a ground pound with a shield. But it doesn't seem as spammable. But this down 4 covering both directions at the same speed as the mid, kind of promising. His heat engagers are pretty decent. He has this knee that he does out of the perfumer stance. You'll see it later in the breakdown. That it advances and is safe, and it jumps over lows. So it's a really high coverage option and doesn't seem to have a lot of risk. I don't know about how linear it is, but that's something I would want to check out. His down 2 is really, really good, I think. Noctis had sidestep 2 at about 18 frames, and it put it 0 on block. And the 0 on block situation is nice when the movement is so good. So sidesteps are really strong in this game. I'm pretty excited to see the fact that down 2 will create this mini game of I can sidestep your fast move, but if you do a slow move, I'll do that 1+2 counter hit, right? So Victor can set the pace with this big high coverage mid and make plays off of that, which I think is really interactive and pretty cool. And then he has the big sword move forward 1+2. He has a lot of stances, and my initial take on the stances is they are medium risk, medium reward. The stances don't feel stupid enough to just spam. But if you are better than your opponent and kind of in their head, yeah, you can like do a lot of mind games with them. But the stances don't seem like, for example, Elisa chainsaws, where you kind of are, like at least in Tekken 7, Elisa's chainsaws kind of left you with very little options. You just had to block and guess. Victor has some of that with the 20 frame down 1+2. There's a really funny clip in this, really funny clip in this breakdown where he does the down 1+2 and it tracks behind him. So this is like, it's a full homing move and it will even hit behind him, which is absolutely hilarious. There's more details about his stances and stuff, but I think the last thing that I think is cool that I wish I saw Gosain use a little more, and of course, given it's a live show, you're doing an exhibition, it's hard to like have your full 100% gameplay. The character's new. I'm not expecting him to play perfect, okay? All I'm saying is it would have been cool to see him hold his heat longer because Victor gets access to all of his sword moves and they become safer. So like the up 1+2 where he teleports into the air and comes down is way safer. So he can go for these big, like the power fantasy of like big sword moves becomes a reality when he's in heat. And I think that's a cool way of treating the character, where he plays more poke, more counter hit, more timing. And then when you get rewarded for it with your heat, you go into huge sword moves. So ultimately, because he's this poke character looking for a nice down forward 2, looking for a nice 1+2, he reminds me of Tekken Tag 2 Lars so much, right? One thing I don't have in the notes here is his full crouch game. I think the full crouch game is going to be pretty important with while standing 1+2. He has, I think it's full crouch down forward 1+2. So he has those 2 basic options, and then he has the while standing 4 to counter hit launch. So it's a very basic mix-up. It seems very effective, and again, reminds me of Lars from Tekken Tag 2, where he had the shoe shine, he had while standing 4, and if he played with the full crouch timing, he could hit like a counter hit down forward 2. And in Tekken 7, they even made that full crouch down forward 2 his launcher from crouch. So Victor has elements of Tag 2 and Tekken 7 Lars. Also, because his stances feel less real, in the sense that like the counterplay seems like if you make a read on his stance, he doesn't get a lot out of it. We didn't see the full potential, obviously, but and we haven't gotten the chance to lab every option. But the general impression I have is, yes, he has a bunch of dumb stuff, but his entrance when he went into stance against Sephiblack got challenged. So if his stance game isn't like oppressive enough, it kind of gives me the impression that he's not built to play heavy stances unless there's like already a big skill gap. Instead, he's going to be using his cheap moves, finding counter hits, finding whiff punishes off of sidesteps. And honestly, I prefer that. I'm not a stance player. I don't enjoy playing stances that much, but I really love this style of poking, counter hitting, and whiff punishing. So already, I had my doubts about Victor when I first was looking at him, but now that I've seen more and more and more, especially this full breakdown and that counter hit launch he has, I'm really excited. One thing they didn't show was his power crush high. I think that's also 15 frames. I would want to know the tracking on that as well, because power crush in this game is so strong. So having a good power crush seems to be very, very important. Those are pretty much my thoughts on Victor. I think that I'm way more optimistic than before, and he has cool stuff too, like being able to go into Perfumer, into Crouch Dash. Lars had like these forward 3 stance cancels that weren't exactly amazing, but they, you know, they were kind of like a fun forward movement option. One thing I'm trying to find is the part in the video where he goes EI stance into the sweeping low. Yeah, I think it's coming up here. Let me turn up the volume real quick.
In the stance is down 1+2. This move
Yes,
is very
this
funny
move.
because,
Look at this situation.
although it is really punishable on block, a -29. It's just a move to
29.
throw the opponent off. You're not gonna be. It's quite fast, so you're not gonna be able to see this.
Yeah, unseeable but launch punishable. And look at the tracking here.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that goes on the.
Did you see that? Look at this. Look at how far behind he is.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
He literally just realigns. He like turns his body around. He hit behind him completely. So
That is your option.
that situation was really cool.
If the opponent is trying to move against the stance. Okay. You got down 1+2.
And I'm sorry. I'm just like flabbergasted by the fact that that's a thing. So in any case, those are my Victor thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a like if you did. Please leave a comment if you think I missed something. You got any questions? This document will eventually go out, but it's not ready yet. I think I'll have to do some more refinement. I want to get my actual hands on the character. So I'll scroll through it. You can pause through each moment if you want to take a look on your own. But yeah, I was so apprehensive about this character. Got a bit more excited the more we've seen. So yeah, hopefully guys, I'll catch you more in Tekken 8. I'm really excited to make a bunch of content about it. I'm stalling with a bunch of words so I can keep scrolling and give you screenshot opportunities. And that'll be it. Thank you. Have a good one. Peace.